They held the World Track and Field Championships there, so you got to see Noah Lyles and Sha'Carri Richardson and all of them train, and you got the housing. The dorms became the housing for USA and Croatia and France, whatever.
Bouncer to bar.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And
Smartest
it
man
goes,
alive. He's a bouncer.
yeah. And,
Well, he
and
can read people really well. Put it that way.
Yeah.
He fell off a 2-story roof and shattered everything from his ankle down. So feet, heels, everything. Had to get everything fused together. Wheelchair. I have that pride. I'm young. I don't need this, right? But you do. You really do, because you don't know. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow, and you were saying.
so you did 4 years with the Oregon Ducks, not Oregon State.
Yep.
And you ended up getting your degree in finances there. And then you went on to work in finance, and you have a whole reason behind that, why you chose to get into finance and how it plays a role in men's lives as far as their health and wellness go as well.
Yes. That wasn't originally the plan. I wanted to be an investment banker. That's where I wanted to go with that originally with my finance degree. Sure enough, investment banking firms were not hiring when I graduated in 2023. You guys remember the Silicon Valley banking crisis?
Yeah.
That happened right when I was looking at jobs. So no one was hiring. A lot of firms were actually laying people off, right? So I wanted to take the other route of finance, being a financial advisor, and see, what does that look like? Give it a try. I ended up going to Northwestern Mutual from a connection I made at Oregon that knew a guy in the 3 states that I wanted to potentially move after college. It was either the greater Phoenix area, Denver, or Austin, right? Those are the 3 cities. I said, okay, where is a young guy going to meet, and in a well-populated area, going to meet like-minded people like myself and hopefully get off to a good start, right?
Yeah.
Granted, I did know I have some family out here. I haven't seen them a lot in my life. My dad's father is out here, and then my dad's sister is out here. So my aunt, her husband, and their 2 kids, and then my grandfather is out here.
Yeah.
They've been out here since I can remember, but I've seen them 5 or 6 times, kind of growing up, and that's how that works. So spending more time with them would be really cool.
Okay.
Actually, to the point where my grandfather let me live with him for the first 6 months while I was out here, so that I could, save up some money, find a place, get my business going at Northwestern Mutual. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, very grateful for him for that. But it's humbling, right? You want to out the gate just be really, financially savvy, successful. You want everything to happen at once, and that's not how the life works, right? So that was a really good aspect to have him here, and that's part of the reason why I chose Arizona. And it was all because a mentor I had at Oregon, through Nike and Phil Knight, and there was internship opportunities where I got in front of Nike. The internship didn't work out, and so therefore I got in front of Oregon World Track and Field Athletics. So the World Track and Field Championships is held at Oregon because they have the best, in my opinion, and, obviously a little biased,
Sure.
but
And that's fair.
the best track and field facility in the country. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's the training grounds is underground underneath the track stadium.
Oh, wow.
It's unbelievable. But they held the World Track and Field Championships there, so you got to see Noah Lyles and Sha'Carri Richardson and all of them train, and you got the housing. The dorms became the housing for USA and Croatia and France, whatever. It was really, really cool. And my internship there was with the finance department, creating a ticketing algorithm to basically delegate tickets to certain countries based on how many athletes per country were in that event.
Okay.
And so I got a finance internship there, did that for a month. And I met somebody there who ended up becoming my mentor. His name was David Paulson. And he was a financial advisor at Northwestern Mutual. I didn't know that at the time. I just knew that he was a former tight end for the Ducks, was a finance guy. The mentorship program put me with him when I applied for it, and so that I could potentially meet people after college football, see what that's like. And he's like, I don't know what you want to do, whether it's investment banking or yada, yada, yada. And I told him that was the route. He ended up striking out a lot because of all those firms shutting down, and we're not shutting down, but laying people off and whatever they needed to do, especially when the crisis was happening. And then he's like, well, I'm a financial advisor. Would you ever want to give that a shot? And I was like, well, what do you do? He said, I manage people's retirement plans. I help them build a portfolio, and I sell them on insurance. And I was like, insurance. Everyone hates insurance. Fucking bullshit.
Right.
I agree. It sucks. I don't
Yeah,
like
we all
insurance,
have it.
but we all have it.
Yeah.
It's shady, but it is what it is. Now, when he was selling, yeah, life insurance, disability, long-term care, I was like, I'm 22 years old. I don't need any of this shit. Right. Sure enough, become a financial advisor, work at Northwestern Mutual. I started out working in Gilbert because he knew a guy named Ryan Zainsworth from when he was working up in Tacoma, Washington. Then they moved down here to Gilbert, and I told him I wanted to move to Greater Phoenix area as one of my locations, and he connected the dots, put me in contact with him. 2 weeks later, I fly out to do an interview in person, visit the grandparents for a little bit, and did the whole spiel with Northwestern Mutual here, and they offered me a job, and I took it. So I ended up moving in with my grandfather for the first 6 months and worked a straight commission job slinging life insurance until I got investment license to start doing retirement plans and 401k management, asset management, etc. So,
well, and what a lot of people don't realize is like the purpose of college, like a collegiate experience, is not just to have a piece of paper that you can put on the wall and go, look, I did a thing.
yeah.
It's to show that you're trainable. It's to show that you're responsible enough to achieve that thing, but it is also massively about the connections that you make while you're there. The connections that I made while I was going to college have been massive for me, and I'm constantly networking as it is, but that led me to so many opportunities, to starting businesses, to like hyper driving businesses and things, just from, the relationships that I formulated in my college years. Just turned 42 a couple days ago, and I'm still utilizing those connections.
100%.
And we kind of talked about it a little bit before we went on air. I said I tout the book Outliers all the time, and they talk about the formula for success, right? To be the right person at the right place at the right time. And I don't want to ruin it for you. However, I'll go ahead and ruin it. What do you think the job is of the man who holds the record for the world's highest IQ?
Dude, I have no idea. I could go down 3 different holes.
Got it. So I believe Einstein's IQ was somewhere around like 165 or something, right? This man, Chris Langan's IQ, is estimated to be at a 210. Because I guess he had completely aced the normal IQ test, and so they had to formulate one that measured above 200 for him. And he ended up being estimated, I think, 210 to 220 or something like that.
Tell me he's like an auto mechanic.
Bouncer at a bar.
Bouncer at a bar.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And
Smartest
it goes,
man alive. He's a bouncer.
yeah. And
Well, he can read people really well. Put it that way.
Yeah.
well, it talks about how he's like solving like thermodynamics equations on bar napkins, and then a fight would break out and he'd go break up the fight and get everybody situated and then be like, that's the answer, and go down and scribble it out, right? But the whole thing,
As you do.
Talk about another level of multitasking.
Yeah,
Right.
right. And taking punches and working out insanely complex equations in the background.
Perfect.
so it talks about his experience in college, and basically he was not the right person because his social skills were lacking. His father or stepfather like beat on him really bad, so his concepts of like fighting for himself were completely destroyed. And so his first semester in college, he aces it. His second semester in college, his brothers used his car and destroyed the transmission on it, so he had to drop out or take night classes. And so he goes on academic probation immediately. They end up like kicking him out because he couldn't get his financial aid paperwork squared away. He never stood up for himself, so he never, fortune favors the bold. He never ended up getting his degree until they started talking. I think he has since gone on to do bigger things in life, but well into this man's 30s and possibly 40s, he was a bouncer at a bar before anyone knew that he was an extremely high-level genius, right? So for
I know how that feels.
by watching me, maybe. So you
Humble much.
and so strong. I really enjoyed that clip.
That was
Anyway,
good. That was good.
so the whole point to all of that is that like had he been able to be malleable, then he would have had more opportunities, but he didn't do that. And so the fact that you were able to play football, not focus everything on football, make your connections, make your friends, you know, that's what you're supposed to do in college. And it's now led you down the road in finance, which again, from what you said, wasn't your original goal either. However, that does play a role into you chasing your ultimate dream,
Yes.
which is health and wellness.
Yes.
So what are you wanting to do in health and wellness?
In honesty, it wasn't my dream until recently, and recently being over the last couple of years, right? I have a lot of conviction and found that in while I was a financial advisor. But then while I was a financial advisor, I'll share the story. My stepfather, love the guy. He makes my mom super happy, so can't complain at all. He's a contractor. He owns his own company in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And about 4 years ago now, he fell off a 2-story roof and shattered everything from his ankle down. So feet, heels, everything. Had to get everything fused together. Wheelchair for a while. My mom had to take care of him. It was hard to see, right? But he's a business owner, and so no disability, no insurance when it comes to that. No life insurance. He was lucky that nothing else happened to him, right?
Yeah.
So, rehab there, figuring things out, seeing it take the toll on the business, maybe not necessarily from a financial standpoint, from him being present, for his employees and everything, like that was hard, right? And then sure enough, 2 years later, they're on their way to a charity event, and he pulls over on the side of the freeway, helps a motorcyclist that had crashed, and he gets hit by a drunk driver.
Oh my God.
And then he tore off this part of his face, had to get stitches down the side of his face. He broke some part here, broke part of his the It was a nightmare. The guy's got 9 lives. He really does. Yeah. But his way of life is not the same. And we see it, right? Not only does it have an effect on you physically, but mentally too. Getting back into a car, getting back on the ship, being the same, proud, positive attitude, handling adversity person that he was, like seeing a man change like that is crazy.
Right.
Because, I have my dad. I love my dad. My stepdad is also an idol to me, too.
Right.
His work ethic and how he treats my mom, like treating women in that aspect, is something that I want to do for every girl that I see. Now, I got my girl. She's mine. I'll pop the question next year. Like, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's just seeing that and how it affects, other people. He's a really good person. It shouldn't have happened to him. Right. But then,
it does.
It does. And we don't have the proper disability insurance or other things in place where insurance really does matter. So that's where I got my conviction of, hey, I have that pride. I'm young. I don't need this. Right. But you do. You really do. Because you don't know. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow. And you were saying how you got motorcyclists revving their engines across, in the neighborhood, ruining the podcast, whatever the fuck. Right. But you got to make sure, like, even if there's a little kid walking out there, right? What happens to that? What happens to you? You're taking time out of work to go do and take care of your kid, right?
Right.
Where's your disability insurance, or where's your leave, or what's happening, right? We've got to make sure we have the right things in place.
Right.
So,
and as I was telling you, I went to college and I had back-to-back truck accidents where I totaled my truck twice. And had I been an entrepreneur at that point, my ship is sank.
Right.
Like, I'm toast. There's nothing I can do there. So is that kind of what you're doing in the world of finance now, is you're selling insurance and other situations? I'm sure you've probably heard people talking about peptides. It piqued your interest, you looked into it, but you don't know what source to trust. A lot of this stuff is coming out of China. If you're looking for a good quality peptide that's made in the United States, go to helixpure.com.